Hey guys, how's it going? I'm doing a couple day WordPress tutorial for you. And yeah, so today I'm basically just gonna go through a little bit of the WordPress back office so you can get a little bit more familiar with where to find things and what their uses are. So yeah, I think that's important. We'll start with that. And then over the next couple days, I will get more specific on certain parts of your website that you're going to want to make sure you do and how to do them, basically. So, yeah, it's just going to be like a basic tutorial setting up a basic site. So, yeah, step one, we're going to just go through the back office here. I've created a test site. So the cool thing is when you do get a website domain through your hosting site, you can actually do subdomains where you can make other pages too, which is really handy if you want to just kind of play with a few ideas and see what it looks like before you try and publish it and make it live. So yeah, so I love that. And yeah, just a brief overview of what hosting is. So hosting is what makes your website actually like live on the website server. So there's all different kinds of website hosting sites. I use HostGator, but there's a bunch of other ones. There's like SiteGround, there's Blue Hosting, I think. There's GoDaddy, there's all sorts of things. So yeah, basically you just choose what works best for you. You need the hosting site first, and then you can install WordPress from those hosting sites. So yeah, so that's what I did today. I went in my hosting site, I put this new domain subdomain and installed a new fresh WordPress. So yeah, I can go over hosting more too if you're not sure what that is at another time. Just let me know if that's something you want to learn about, or you can just reach out to me directly and I can help you get started with website hosting. But this tutorial is more for people that already have WordPress, or maybe they already have their domain and they're hosting and now they know they can use WordPress, but maybe you just don't know everything that you can do with WordPress. So anyway, let's carry on. So this is what it looks like when you install a fresh new site. So if we look up here, so right here is where you'll be able to actually visit your website. So it's not actually a published site. So if I went to visit site right now, I'm gonna right click, I'm gonna open it. I always open in a new tab because I always want my back office here and then looking at my site on a separate tab. So if you look here, yeah, it basically looks like that. And actually it should come up with a coming soon page instead. So yeah, this is what it looks like right now. Obviously not very attractive, but it's not actually live, so I don't have to worry about it until I click live. So that's the cool thing here. So let's go back over here. So this here where it says coming soon active, that's gonna actually show people a coming soon page until I actually click on this and I'm ready to launch my website. So yeah, it's really neat. You can just get everything ready first and you can preview it. And then when you're finally ready, you'll either click here or click here, and then people will actually be able to start seeing it. So yeah, over here is where you do different plugin updates. And that's really important to do. And we'll go over what plugins are later on. So I'll just leave that for now. Over here is comments. So once your site's up, people will start commenting on some of your posts or their page or your page. And this is where you would go to actually approve those. And yeah, here's just kind of like a quick link for adding a new post or a new page. And caching, I wouldn't really worry about that. And insights, that's where you're going to find out your like analytics, how many people are showing up to your page. how many views you're getting, that kind of stuff. But that's something you need to also set up as well. So anyway, let's move on. So dashboard, let's talk about the dashboard here. When you first come on here, you're going to have all these things on here, and it's going to, you know, tell you to get things started here. So right here, we got a notification about connecting your insights, your analytics, like we just talked about. So that's something you would have to set up for sure. Definitely that's one you want to do. And then get the most out of WP Forms plugin. Okay, so this is for contact forms. So this is a nice little easy contact form thing to use. So I would definitely check that out, because you're going to want people to be able to contact you somehow. So it's good to have a contact page. And this will help you get like a nice simple form that you just put what you want on it, like name, message, and their email or whatever you want. And it'll populate a nice clean form for you. And then here's another thing talking about opt-in monster. So that's kind of their email marketing that WordPress recommends. So you can check that out. But there's different email marketing platforms you can use. That's just one that WordPress recommends. So you don't necessarily need to use that. And then here's a little welcome to WordPress thing. So where it'll give you a little bit of a tutorial, it looks like, or just kind of help you get started. And here's another thing that automatically comes up on here called Jetpack. And this is all about your website performance and security and all that stuff, which is important. I don't actually use Jetpack myself, but I do have different kinds of like anti-spam stuff on my sites to make sure that people aren't spamming me. And then I definitely have a form of security as well. But this one, if you don't know what else to use, maybe just use this Jetpack one, because that might just make your life easier. And yeah, so then, yeah, this is like the forms again. So it's kind of repeating itself over here. So that's what happens on your dashboard. Once you set up these things, you can X all this stuff out so that your dashboard is showing you exactly what you need, not like a bunch of pop-ups. So let's move on over here. So home. Okay, that's your, yeah, let's go past that. Posts. So posts is what you're going to use when you're adding a blog post to your site. So that's the main use of this one. You would click on the posts. You would add a new post. And then you would go from there. So we can see on here, we got this like hello world one. That's kind of an example post. And so I would just go right away and get rid of that. So you could just delete that. You don't want that on there. That's just some generic thing that's on there. So I would just click on that, move to trash, apply. Okay, and then I would just end up adding my own posts. And I'll go into that on another tutorial. We'll talk about adding blog posts, but we're just doing a little tutorial right now. So yeah, and then when you do a post, you can put a category or a tag on it. That way, just makes it easier once you start getting more posts on your site for people to find stuff in a specific category or a specific tag. And then media. So media, this is where all of your photos and stuff are going to be. I was playing with it earlier. I uploaded a photo. So any photos you have, they're going to show up in here. And pages. So pages are going to be, yeah, this is where you're going to do like your home page, where you're going to do like an about me page. And so everything, like, you know, when you're on websites and you see different menu items, those are all organized in different pages. So it takes them to a different page, and each page has its own purpose. And then you can link it through a menu so people can easily go through those pages. So yeah, I will show you in another tutorial coming up this week which pages you should definitely have, and just some little tips on those pages as well. So yeah, like you can see here, we have like a sample page. Let's see what that is. We'll end up deleting that because yeah, so here's a sample page. It's different from a blog post because it will stay in one place and will show up in your site navigation. So I just mentioned that. It's your menu. Most people start with an about page that introduces them. So, oh, look, they're already giving you some tips that I was going to give you. So yeah, so that's your little sample page there. And that's something I'm going to delete. And the other cool thing about pages is people aren't actually going to see these pages until you direct them to it somehow. So other than like, so the home page, you would set it as kind of like your default front page or whatever. That would be like the first thing they'd see. But any other page you start adding, it's not going to show up until you add it to like the menu navigation. So yeah, so you can create a bunch of pages and people might not even end up seeing them. So even if I kept, my point is, if I kept this sample page on here, people aren't gonna ever see it, but I am gonna trash it anyway because I don't want it. It's useless to me to have it here. WP forms preview, let's see, do we need that? Okay, so it is saying to leave this one if you're going to use the WP forms. Don't delete this page. Okay, cool. And this one here, privacy policy. I would recommend leaving the privacy policy. If this is a good template, and you can edit a couple things in here, but most of it, this is like a good thing to show people that you respect their privacy and that any information that they give you, you're telling them through this privacy policy that you're going to respect that and you're not going to share it with people and that kind of stuff. So I would leave that and definitely have that as a page that you publish somewhere on your website. All right, so let's move on. Comments. So yeah, like I mentioned, this is where comments are going to pop up. This is a new site, so obviously there's no comments in here. And WP forms, this is where you're going to add your email contact form. Marketplace, that sounds pretty obvious, where you're going to possibly buy more things, more features for your site. So these are showing up different kinds of themes that you might want to buy. And I'll go over themes with you. So themes are like kind of what your website layout is going to look like. So WordPress has like their own theme that they start off right away. And then they have a ton of free themes as well that you can go through depending on what kind of style you want for your website. These other themes that you purchase, they just have a little bit of extra features and they are a lot more customizable. So I actually got one of these premium themes, they're called. For my other websites, it's called Aveda, and I just like it because it's very easy for me to customize my site. And if I like look up on YouTube and there's some way I want my site to look like, I can look it up and find out how I can do that within my theme. Because some of the free themes, you'll notice after a while like of using them that they're going to have limitations and you're only going to be able to do so much with them. But if you find like a really nice free theme that you like, and there's nothing else that you want to customize on it, and you're just totally loving the way that it lays out, then that's totally fine. You don't need to go with a premium theme. So yeah, appearance, this is where you would find your themes. So themes. So the default one that uploads here is this 2019. We can see here that it's active. And then we can customize it. And then there's a couple other ones in here that are already uploaded. 2017, 2016, 2020. This is like WordPress's specific themes. And then if we go here to trying to find where we can look up other themes. Add a new theme. Yeah, so this, if you go to add a new theme, this is where you can start looking through different kinds of styles and just kind of play with them. Yeah, and you'll see more like once you start adding some content, and then it'll be like easier to start playing with the themes because you'll see how your content changes through the different layouts through the themes, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, so that's themes. And then other parts of appearance, we got customized. So this is where you can actually, this part's cool because you can edit things right here on the sides here, and then you can see what it's actually doing on your website. So, you know, if I, like, for example, I have these little edit buttons here. So obviously I'm not gonna want things like practice, just another website, WordPress site on here. So I can see, okay, that's in here under site identity. So I can delete those things and they'll disappear. And I can just put whatever I want here. Stephanie Kovich. Awesome website. Or you can just leave that blank and just add your own cover photo because, yeah, this is kind of really basic to have that as your website title. But yeah, just kind of showing you there. So yeah, you can go through all these things here. You can customize your colors, menus. You can create your menus here. Yeah, so I'm going to X out of that. The only thing about this customizer, like sometimes I do use this customizer, but for the most part, I find I can do a lot more when I go in just into my dashboard here. So I find I have a lot more editing options here. And then, yeah, that's why I just get my site open too in another tab so that I can go over here and refresh anything that I've done. So for example, this practice thing should go away. Okay, it didn't. Anyway, but normally when you edit things over here, then you can refresh and it'll show over here. So yeah, that's two different types of customizing options. There's just all of these more of these menu options in this version than by using this customize tool. But yeah, see what works best for you. So menus, that's when you would add, since I don't have a bunch of pages yet, I can't really make a menu right now, but I will show you how to do that later on. And yeah, so plugins are just like those added things that you add to your site. So plugins are really neat. Like I will show you on another site the types of plugins I've added. But basically, yeah, it's just adding other features, like you can add your Instagram feed, or you can add YouTube videos through plugins, and yeah, a whole bunch more. Yeah, this is where you get some, like the anti-spam plugin to make sure that people aren't spamming you with a bunch of comments that you don't want, and a whole bunch of things. I'll definitely show you more of that on my other site that I have finished. So yeah, install plugins. This is where you can search up new plugins, add new. And then you can actually just search right here. So yeah, Instagram, for example. Oops. Yeah, so that'll give you options there. I think I use the Smash Balloon one to have my Instagram feed on my other website. And yeah, let's see what shows up for like social. So this will, yeah, there's all different options if you press social, adding other social stuff, social media, share buttons, etc. This plugin here is one of my favorites. It's called Yoast SEO. So SEO is search engine optimization. So when you start doing blogs and stuff, and even like your home page, if you are, there's basically like all these rules for Google to rank you on their pages. And the reason a lot of people show up just kind of organically and naturally on Google search engine is because they've optimized it according to what they like. Like it's according to certain keywords, and even just the style of your writing as well, and like the readability and stuff. So this plugin really helps you figure out what that is, because it's gonna, after you type, it's gonna tell you, it's gonna show you exactly what you need to fix so that you will have a better chance of being ranked. So I'll show you more of that another time as well. Yeah, so we'll leave plugins for now. Oops. So let's continue down here. Users. So yeah, this is where all the users are. There's me. Most of the time it's just going to be you. But if you do get to a point where you want to add more people, like for example, on my hiking website, I had a guest blogger. She did a couple posts for me and I added her as a user. And then I was able to give her a different role. Like I didn't give her an admin role because I didn't want her to change my whole site, but I gave her a role where she would be able to post a blog post, and that's basically it. So that's where you would come and add other users if you needed to. And you can even edit so that you have like your picture showing up, and just how it looks like when people see your little username. It's called an avatar. And so if you do a blog post, it will show this at the end. And yeah, you can even come in here. I'll just show you. And yeah, you put your name. You can put a little bio here. Hey guys, or avid hiker, traveler, whatever, right? So you can put a little bio so someone sees after your post just a little snippet about you. Oh, sorry, it's a gravatar. I can change my gravatar. So if you don't have a picture here, you'll have to make a gravatar, and you'll be able to just do that right here in profile picture. It'll take you right to it. And yeah. Tools. So yeah, this for tools here, the only time I've used tools was to import or export certain files. But when you're first getting started, you probably won't use that. And settings. Okay, settings are important. Excuse me. Yeah, so in settings, this is where you're gonna have your site title. Okay, yeah. So this is what's gonna show up on your tab here. So as you can see here, my site title and tagline shows up right in this little tabby here. So I can change that. Stephanie, awesome website. Here's my URL, my email address. So you can change, if you need to change your email address at all, you would come here for that. Membership, I don't have a membership site, so I'm not going to do that. But you know, if you did, this is where you would change those settings. And you can do time zone and all that kind of stuff here. I don't really find that like makes a big difference, but so yeah, and then you would just save your changes. Let's see if that helped. Okay, so now we can see I've changed the tab here. So it says Stephanie, awesome website. Okay. So other settings you'll want to be mindful of. General, okay, so we did that. Writing, let's check that out. Okay, I don't ever do anything in writing. Reading, I do. So reading is good for when you start getting all your blog posts. You're gonna want to edit like what shows up on the page for blog posts. So how many posts show up on your page, so you can change that. So maybe you only want to do like 3 or 5 or something posts per page, so it's not like a huge page. I think I usually do 3 or let's just go to my blog page here in the Lower Mainland Hikers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I do 5 posts per page. So this is, once you have a bunch of blog posts, they're gonna show up like this, and then people can click on each post. So I chose to have 5 per page. That's what that's all about. So let's do that. 5. Save. All right. And the other thing you're going to want to know about is permalinks. So this is how your links are going to show up. So if you have like your website, like stephaniekovich.com, and then you have a post, you can choose what it looks like. You can choose to have a date, or just the post name is what I recommend, because it's just a lot cleaner. So it'll just, otherwise it defaults to showing all this other stuff like date and stuff, and it just looks messy. And so I'd rather just have my post name, like, okay, maybe I did a blog about marketing, and then so it would say stephaniekovich.com/marketing. Whereas if you had like this, like the regular default would probably show like the date and all this stuff that's not necessary. So yeah, definitely come in and change this to post name. Do this before you ever add any posts, because I did this on my hiking site. like, it was really silly. I did it like a year or so after, and that just messed up my whole site. Um, yeah, because I had the date in there too, and I just thought that looked messy. But then I already had so many other things linking to those links, so I had to go in a whole bunch of posts and rechange all of the links I've added. So definitely just do this first, and yeah, so you don't want to, because you don't want to change it later. I think I messed up my SEO doing that as well. So that probably wasn't very smart, but anyway. Yeah, that's basically it. Down here, we just have our insights again and opt-in monster. So yeah, that's your basic overview of the back office. I will show you a quick little thing in my hiking website. So I got more features here because I got all these plugins and stuff. Oh, actually, there was one more thing I wanted to show you that's in the main one. It's under appearance. It's widgets. Widgets are important. So widgets are like little sidebars or like the footer on a website. So I'll show you here on my website. This whole footer part here where I have the Facebook links, the recent posts populating, the search bar, these social links, my privacy policy, that's all in my footer widget. So yeah, that's the only way you can have this footer here is by going through the widgets. And you can also, some people like to have like a little sidebar widget. So they're basically like added blocks on your website. I guess that's the best way I could explain it. But yeah, mainly like I use widgets for the footer. That's the only widget area I use. So yeah, I'll just quickly show you some added things I have here. I have my Instagram feed, which is through a plugin. I have YouTube plugin. So that's where I'm able to add a YouTube video. And well, here we'll go into plugins. And these little circles here with like the numbers, these are telling me that I have updates I need to do. So yeah, I got to do some updates. And updates are important. Like make sure you're checking. Updates happen all like pretty frequently with different plugins and stuff. So make sure you're checking in on your site every once in a while, doing your updates, because otherwise if there's a major update on one of your plugins and stuff and you don't do it, then people are going to come to your site and certain parts of your website aren't going to be showing up or not working properly and showing error messages. So you definitely want to come in like once a week or something and make sure everything's up to date. And okay, okay, so here's a plugin I have. It's called Advanced Ads. This website I have, since I had a certain amount of traffic and stuff, I now am able to do like ads on the site, just like Google ads. So there's a plugin for that, so that Google ads just populate and I make I make a few cents every once in a while. But you know, it adds up. And yeah, contact form. I think I chose a different kind of contact form plugin, so you have that. And my YouTube. Some of these ones like the Fusion Builder and stuff are part of the Aveda theme I was talking about. So they have certain plugins that I have to make sure that things, so I can do certain features on my website. Then I have this iTheme security, so it helps keep my site secure. And I have this Manage WP plugin because I actually do all my updates through here. Because I have multiple sites, I like using Manage WP so I can have everything on here. I can easily click through and see what updates need to be done. I can do all my backups, make sure every day I got my site backing up, which is very important. You want to either have a plugin or some sort of either through your hosting or through something like Manage WP. You want to make sure you're doing backups, because if anything happens to your site, especially when you start getting a lot of content on it, you want to make sure that it's saving somewhere so that you can reinstall it if you need to. If it's something happens and you suddenly, you make an edit maybe on your site and you totally mess up something and it just goes into white screen of death, we call it, which is scary. And if you don't have a backup, it's over, like it's gone. So yeah, this is a plugin I used to use called Updraft Plus. I actually don't even use that one. So yeah, and then here's the Yoast SEO I was talking about. And yeah, so I think that's probably basically what I'll go over. I'll just show you a bit about I'll show you just quickly on my home page for my Lower Mainland hikers, so you can kind of see what it looks like, some of the things I've talked about. Right here is like a nice little cover slide thing I did. Does a little sliding thing of pictures. I did that through my theme that I uploaded. And then I have my recent posts that populate up on here. Then I have a link to my YouTube. So I do that by posting a video on here. So I uploaded one of my hiking videos, and they'll take people right to my YouTube channel and stuff. And then here's where my Instagram feed populates. And then anytime I upload on Instagram, it'll upload on my site too, which is nice. And then, yeah, my footer, where I have the link to my Facebook and my posts and all of these different ways they can find me on other social media. And right in here, people can search up. Maybe they want to find my 10 Essentials of Hiking blog. They can search that. And they will find something that mentions it and then be like, oh, okay, here it is. There's that post. Cool. So yeah, I think that's good for today. And like I mentioned, I will be going over the pages that I think that are necessary for you to have on your website, just your basic pages to get started. And then we'll go over blog posting and yeah, those things for sure. And definitely you can leave in the comments if there's anything in particular that you want me to go over, then I can do that as well. So you'd have to definitely comment in below, and then I can go over anything else as well. But I just wanted to basically do kind of a basic website setup so you can get something out there, you can get started, and then go from there. So we will see you on the next video.